I would like to again thank my opponent for responding on that round. Now I'd like to present my rebuttal, and first I'm going to ask the opposition to clarify what the term prohabilitation means regarding your reform plan. To respond to such a plan, reform may sound like a great idea on paper and all, but is it really feasible? No. It has failed many times before. One such example of failed prison reform can be seen in Hinds County, Mississippi. According to Andrew Cohen, legal analysis for 60 Minutes and CBS Radio News, it has been nearly 2 years since officials in Hinds County, Mississippi, made a deal with prison reform advocates to fix the abusive and neglectful conditions at the Henley Young Juvenile Center. They've accomplished virtually nothing in 2 years. He then goes to say that all of this is bad, immoral really, but what makes it so much worse is how common it is. Not just the deplorable conditions in which the nation's incarcerated are held, but the impotency with which the courts deal with these acknowledged constitutional violations. I would also like to mention that reforming prisons isn't enough because the injustices such as racial profiling, for example, happens before prisons, and like you said earlier, this is only something that can be solved with a reform of the judicial system. But that is not what this debate is about. It's about prisons. If we assume that the judicial system could be reformed, what goes to say that we can't start reforming the legal system in ways such as ridding the world of laws altogether? You did not address the fact that to keep prisons is economically crippling. Thus, this claim is conceded and therefore true. Reform not only takes longer than abolition, but is also a lot more expensive. As it is, it costs $28,284 to keep someone imprisoned for one full year. To reform prisons to look like hotels would raise this yearly cost by a large degree. To refer to your source of time.com, the website states, and I quote, every 10 to 12 cells share a kitchen and a living room where prisoners prepare their evening meals and relax after a day of work. None of the windows at Halden have bars. First, I will address the fact that such facilities that you plan to base your reform around do not have bars on the windows. The high number of attempts and successes of prison escapes, along with the high suicide rates, poses an issue to not securing the windows. In fact, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, between 2010 and 2011, 35% of local jail inmate deaths in the U.S. were caused by suicide. Now I will address the reform conditions the opposition plans to impose on said institutions. Prisoners are prisoners for a reason. They committed a crime and they must pay for it. They should not be awarded with the luxuries of hotels when they are there to be punished. To be honest, if prisons were made to be that luxurious, and I was in fact allowed to lead the same life I normally would just in a confined setting, I wouldn't mind vacationing there. I stress the word vacationing because that's what it would be. Prisons would become a place of a resort. It is also contradictory to impose such nice conditions for prisoners, yet still keep them. I would like to point the debate back in the direction of the larger picture, that being the moral calculus we should have as humans to not violate another human's autonomy and freedom. We should put morals and ethics first because it is our responsibility as human beings to rid the world of such atrocities that dehumanize others.